Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the Indie Author Podcast supporting indie authors from all around the world. This episode is brought to you by Rebecca Kearsells of the Rising Dawn series and Martin Crumbs of the Valor of Valhalla series. You too can become a sponsor by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF or follow the link in the show notes. And now, let's get into the show. Warning. Listening to this episode may cause your TBRs to grow in size.
Hello guys and welcome to another great episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional, the indie author podcast supporting indie authors and indie creatives from all around the world. I'm one of your hosts, J.A. Bryden. With me always is our resident reader, Ryan. How you going, Ryan?
I'm living the dream, mate. Living the dream. Been enjoying a lot of nostalgic video games this week. I finished, and I talked about it on the episode, but I finished J.N. Engel's Where the Children Don't Play, and like I mentioned on the episode, it is so far my book of the year. It was fantastic. A good solid read, 500 pages. It's out now. As of the 30th of April, it's out on Amazon. You can buy it in Kindle and paperback. It was a lot of fun. A lot of, halfway through the book, it turned itself on its head, and, it does it in such a way where I was like, I'm even more invested. So great book. Definitely buy it, check it out. Well worth the price that you're going to pay. Horror news, haven't watched any new horror, but I am going to see a new horror movie tomorrow called Hokum, and this is with Adam Scott, and he's heading home to an Irish town where his parents have passed away, and hilarity, in my opinion, ensues, but supernatural horror, witches, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, checking it out. I'll let you guys know how it went next time we record.
Excellent. Yeah, guys, remember to check out our sponsors, Rebecca Kearsells and Martin Crumbs, our honorary sponsors, Janelle Schiecke and Alexander Robb. All their links are down below. We do wonder who's going to win these awards and be our honorary sponsors this year, because I don't know about you, Ryan, but we're seeing a lot of great stuff coming out. It's only been four or 5 months.
Well, 100%. I've read, like I mentioned on the episode, I've read 17 books this year so far, all indie, no traditional publishing, and man, I've read some amazing books this year.
That's amazing. Yeah, and guys, we are working on building this community. Our Discord is growing, so please check that out. Hit us up for the link and jump on board. You get to help create and change the show. We are growing. We're working on a website. We've got a great line of merch. Check it out. A Stories, the True, the Fictional shirt. We've got the mugs. It's a lot is happening, and we may, hint, be growing our team a little bit more. We have lots of ideas. We have lots of things in the works, so keep an eye out for that. But now we're about to dive into an episode with returning guest Mike Nunneley. What a great chat that was, wasn't it, Ryan?
It was, yeah. We talked about his new book Scorn, which is out now on Amazon. I have read his first book, The Dread. He's a fantastic writer. At the moment, just 2 novellas out, but as we find out when we're talking to him, he's working on his first novel, which is great. We talk a lot of horror, we talk a lot of comics, books, everything. So it's a very great chat.
Yeah, it was. And he does really well at our story pitch. Let's just say it was random.
Yeah.
It was random. It was completely random. But
100%.
Yeah, lots of hilarity ensues. Let's just say that. But let's not waste any more time. Are you ready, Ryan? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, let's go talk to Mike Nunneley. Mike Nunneley, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, so have we. We had a great chat last time. I mean, like, it's might have something to do with the fact that we both love Kevin Eastman and the Ninja Turtles. I don't know.
Right? That had something to do. And Back to the Future. Let's not forget Back to the Future. Yeah.
That's it.
Hell yeah. Love them Ninja Turtles.
Yep. Me too. Me too. And the guys at work, because I've just changed where I park, they've just suddenly. Cause I have Ninja Turtle car seat covers, so everyone's
Oh.
coming up to me. Going, is that your? Are you a Ninja Turtle fan? Is that your car? For the yeah.
Nice.
It's cool.
No, I just have a collection of Ninja Turtle movies and comic books.
Yeah.
I don't have anything I can really show off in public or anything.
Yeah. Not yet. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't your first time on the show, so we've got new icebreakers. We've got brand new, spanking new icebreakers. Some of these came from our Discord. We've got a Discord if anyone's interested in joining, but a lot of people get to suggest things, and sometimes I go, you know what? I'm gonna do that. So these
Okay.
these new icebreaker questions come from some of our Discord members. So Ryan,
You threw me some interesting ones last time. I'm curious what we're gonna do this time.
well, strap in, strap in. Ryan, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so the first one, very simple question: dwarves or elves?
Well, honestly, that all depends on what I want to do. Like if I want to drink, if I want to like have a feast of all feasts, drink some serious freaking beer and just have a good time, I'm gonna go to the dwarves.
Yeah.
However,
Mhm.
I do like history, I like philosophy, I like education. No better place to go to that for that than the elves. However, if forced to choose between one or the other, I cannot eat salad for the rest of my life, so no elves.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, me and my wife just recently, over the last few days, rewatched for probably the 100th time the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended
Nice.
edition, and
Nice.
my wife definitely said she would be a dwarf because the food is just too good, and the elves they're just too perfect. And who wants to be perfect? We just want to
Right?
eat good food, enjoy ourselves, and have a good time. And I think that's definitely down the path of the dwarves.
I will add this though, however, if I was gonna live with a group, it would be the hobbits.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep, I can see that.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about drinking ales at the old Green Dragon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. And I have the pleasure of saying I have drunk an ale at the Green Dragon because when I went to New Zealand, it was a functioning pub, so you could go
Oh,
in and you could
nice.
have a traditional New Zealand beer, and a nice pub feed, and yeah, it was good. It was a very very good memory of mine.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That would be very cool. I wish I could do that. That would be awesome.
He just had to
Well,
duck to get in.
oh, 100%.
I'll bet. I'll bet. Be like Gandalf, constantly knocking your head against the lamp or something.
Well, I think I saw something from Andy Serkis. I think it was on the Jimmy Kimmel show or maybe the Stephen Colbert show. I'm not sure. But apparently they're over there shooting a new movie, The Hunt for Gollum, which I only found out
Yes.
about like a week ago. I didn't realize that they were over there. But yeah, Andy Serkis is full in character over there, and that's coming out next year.
Yeah, I'm wondering how, I mean, typically when we're talking about a Tolkien movie, even when it's not necessarily it doesn't necessarily need to happen, they got to make a 3-hour movie out of it, out of each one of them, right? And so I'm wondering with The Hunt for Gollum, there isn't actually that much in the Lord of the Rings about that. I mean, it definitely doesn't take up 3 hours worth of story, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
So I am curious.
Me and Jamie had this conversation, I think, with a guest last week, and
The
we
Hobbit.
said, the Lord of the Rings was Peter Jackson's passion project. So he got the 3 movies, and that was absolutely amazingly well done. And then the studio was like, now here, turn The Hobbit, which is a smaller book, like it's about a third of the size of the first book of Lord of the Rings, and they're like, here, make 3 movies out of this. And I think that's why The Hobbit is not as good in translation as Lord of the Rings was.
I definitely will agree that it is not as good as the Lord of the Rings, not even close. But I will say this: I think that too many people went into The Hobbit looking for something to not like about it. If you just
true.
watch it and have a good time, you'll find that it's a decent movie.
Oh yeah, look, it's a decent
Yeah.
watch. Like me and my wife are going to watch them. We're starting them today, and I remember seeing them at the movies and enjoying them. Definitely, like I agree, they're 100% not as good as the first three. But I mean, when you're spreading a book that small over essentially 9.5 hours,
Right.
I mean, you're going to have some filler.
I didn't actually mind the stuff. I mean, some of it honestly was taken from stuff that Tolkien wrote after The Hobbit was already done that filled in some stories, so it wasn't all completely made up. But I mean, I like I said, I honestly I enjoy watching it. And I watch it once a year, just like I have that. There's Tolkien reading day, and then there's Hobbit day, and those are the 2 days that I watch it. I watch Lord of the Rings on Tolkien reading day, and The Hobbit on Hobbit day.
I like it. I like it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, let's move on and ask the question: what is your least favorite trope in any form of storytelling?
Okay. Okay. I'm not absolutely positive this is a trope, but this is definitely something that bothers me, and that is the false happy ending.
Oh, no, I'd say that's a trope.
And in romantic comedies, like the prime example I think of this is Notting Hill. Okay. Anna Scott is not that good of a person. She treats William Thacker terribly on multiple occasions, and even worse when she thinks he's not there to listen to it. She makes no sign whatsoever that she is going to change her behavior, that she is going to treat him any better. She's just like, I'm just a girl. You got to accept me and love me. And we see them on a beach and there's nice music at the end. Like, that's going to be a happy ending. This dude is basically accepting abuse for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
What women want? What women want? That relationship is doomed. She just fired him. Okay. The idea that guys are just supposed to accept however the woman acts and they don't ever have to change anything, and it's just supposed to be this happy, it bugs the hell out of me. I just can't stand it. Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
okay. Well, I think because my friend has the he absolutely hates the break the characters up, like, so that at the end of a movie,
right?
Like, for example, like Jurassic World, they get basically get together, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, Claire, I think her name is. They get together at the end, and then in the second movie, they're broken up and having tiffs, and it's just like, it's like, but you can't make a movie without, a couple being together.
Well,
I guess.
They do that a lot. Mainly the only time I think it's kind of acceptable is if they can't get one of the love interests back for the sequel. But in Jurassic World, they were both there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the movies, they're both there, and they're just like broken up to try and create that drama.
No. I think if they can't get it back, just kill them off. Kill them off.
I honestly think, just from a writer's perspective, that the only logical reason to do that would be to show that there's a character arc going on there, that the story continued beyond that, and I don't. That would be the only reason, other than, I mean, why mess it up if that's not why?
Yeah,
exactly. That's a horrible. I now that you mentioned that, Jamie, I can think of so many movies that I've seen where that happened, and it's just annoying. And the only reason they've done it is for drama.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Scrubs. Scrubs. Sorry. Sorry.
I'm with you.
Bill Lawrence isn't listening to this episode.
Well, you hope not.
And if you are Bill Lawrence, I'm up to date with Scrubs. I'm still watching it. All right, okay.
That last episode 9, was it was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
Like, you know, had the janitor back,
classic
and the whole
janitor.
thing about how
So-
JD and the new janitor was getting on, and then it's his son, and then he said one little thing, and he goes
So
back
the new
to hate.
series is pretty good then?
It's decent. Look.
In my opinion, I love it. It's.
Yeah, you go, Ryan.
Okay.
I'll say my piece
I
in a
was
second.
just going to say, look, I really like it. I really like it.
Okay.
It brings out emotions in you that. I mean, I'm rewatching the season. I've just finished rewatching season 1 of the old series as well. And you know, there was an episode in the new series that brought out emotion in me that, like the Brendan Fraser episode, brought out emotion in me when I first watched it back many years ago. I'm a big fan. I love Bill Lawrence. I will watch anything he does, and I really enjoyed the first 9 episodes of the new season.
That being said, Ryan hasn't watched all of the old stuff,
No, I haven't.
so he
I
hasn't.
haven't watched all the old stuff either. I was a casual viewer.
Season 8 has the best ending to any show pretty much I've ever seen. And the new series kind of, it's like just the new stuff. Like they made a character arc choice that I wasn't happy about. And I think, why would you do that? And half the internet, had a go at me, and the other half, agreed with me. And Bill Lawrence said, he actually responded to my tweet and said, this is why I went with that. And I was like, and that's why I watched the rest of it. So it's not terrible. I just wasn't happy with one arc. But
Okay.
it's because it's all the same people. It's like the same writer. It's the same crew. And I think it's a good show. It's Bill Lawrence. It's hard not to, like Bill Lawrence.
Are they bringing something? Are they bringing something new to it, or is it just this is these guys older?
Well, they played on the "we're old" for a little too long, I think. Like, oh no,
Right.
we're old. Oh no, we're old. And then it really started getting good after they got over going, oh, we're old.
Okay.
But yeah, they're definitely bringing some new, fresh stuff to it.
Okay. I'll check it out then.
Yeah.
And I have started watching Rooster, Bill Lawrence's other new show with Steve Carell and
Yep.
Dr. Koss. Is it John C. McGinley?
Yep.
He's in that show as well.
He's brilliant.
And that's just, I mean, it's just Bill Lawrence being absolutely amazing again. So that's Rooster. I think that's on HBO over in your neck of the woods, Mike. And it's really good, really good. Steve Carell, the usual cast of extras from Bill Lawrence's shows. He has this group of actors that you'll find, throughout different shows.
Right.
So yeah, it's great. I've watched the first 2 episodes. It's really good.
All right. Nice.
Cool.
Thanks for the tip.
No worries. Okay, question number 3 is if you could have any animal, if you could have an talking animal sidekick, what would you pick? So, for example, a lot of fantasy authors, have the trope of animal sidekick, but we want to know what would your talking animal sidekick be, and a bonus point if you give us, what kind of voice it would have, and would it sound like this person,
Like James L. Jones or
Well, I guess I'm a dog guy, so I guess I would want to be able to talk with my dog. However, if fantasy creatures are fair game, I'm gonna have to go with a luck dragon from Neverending Story.
Ooh.
Okay. And what kind of voice would you give it? Do you have a specific, would it sound like a specific actor, or how would you?
I'd have to imagine it just like I heard it in the movie. If it was any other sound, it wouldn't really work.
Yeah, no, very true. Very true.
You're like, I want one of those. Yeah, one of those kids. Like that's we have a friend that whenever we watch movies together, he's like, doesn't matter what it is. He's like, I want one of them. It's like a velociraptor.
Right.
You watch Jurassic Park. He's like, I want a raptor. It's like, you watch the new what's his name? Alan Richardson movie where he's fighting a war machine. I want one of those war machines, you know.
Nice.
Excellent. All right. A question that's a little more complex and in-depth. What
Okay.
book or story would you like to see adapted to film? Bonus points for picking the director and leading actress, and no, you can't pick your own in this in this theoretical question. Scorn has already become a movie. So, what
Okay.
other story?
Um, well, I gotta kind of play off of a movie that already exists. And that is I would like to do a sequel to Dread. And I would specifically like to do either the Dark Judges or just the Judge Dredd story. If we were gonna do a couple of movies, I might even bust out the Apocalypse Award, you know, something like that. But quite frankly, you got to have the cast from the first one. You got to have Carl Urban as Dredd, right? And you got to have what was her name? Olivia Thirlby. Thirlby, I think that was her name, as Judge Anderson. But either one of those, the Dark Judges would be great to get all four of them there. But just Judge Death showing up with, you know, life is a crime kind of thing going on. That I love that. I love that. And I would definitely for Judge Death himself, I gotta go with Bill Skarsgård.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. He is
Okay.
such an underrated actor. You know, like everybody knows him through the Avengers. He's like, oh, nerdy scientist, and then you go watch flipping what is it? He was in King
It?
Arthur. King Arthur. I think it was King
Yeah.
Arthur. The Clive Owen one way back like 20 years ago, and he played like
You're
Okay.
thinking, Jamie, you're thinking of his dad. Bill Skarsgård is his son. You're thinking of Stellan Skarsgård, who played the
all right,
yes.
scientist. So
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård is
He's
quite
his
big
son.
in the horror community. He played the Pennywise in It. He's been in
Yes.
Stephen King's show Castle Rock. He was in a movie Barbarian, which is another horror
Yeah,
movie.
I'm just looking him
John
up.
Wick 4.
John
Yeah,
Wick 4. He was
there
in
you
John
go.
Wick 4,
Yeah,
yeah, so he's
yeah, I
very
reckon-
good. I love Big Bill Skarsgård.
I recognize the name. That's where and now I know they're
Yeah,
related.
that whole family is amazing actors. Like you've got Alex, I think it's Alex Skarsgård. He was in True Blood. He was in that movie Battleships. He was really good as well. There's like four or five sons. They're all actors.
It is particularly his performance with Pennywise that makes me think he would do good with Judge Death. That with the hissing and the what was it when he talked, I can just see him doing that. I don't know. I can't imagine somebody else pulling off that Judge Death thing as well.
All right, we'll send him an email. Hook it up.
Yeah.
All right, question number 5. Dr. Emmett Brown arrives in your driveway and says, "Great Scott, I need your help to confuse archaeologists. What should I take back in time to bury in the past?"
Okay. I'm feeling the urge to make an X-Files reference here. A note that says we aren't who we are. As a reference from Ice in the first season.
Okay.
That really would be confusing because then they'd spend like years and years and years trying to figure out what it means. What does it mean?
Right?
And then they sit down and watch the X-Files and like, oh my God.
How did I do on that one?
Yeah, no, well, you confused me, so
Nice. Yeah, I thought Ryan would appreciate the X-Files reference there.
Definitely.
That's
I
one
like
of-
that. I think I'm due for a rewatch on that.
I'm actually doing an X-Files rewatch right now. So yeah, I guess that's probably why it was on my mind so heavily.
Okay.
But will you watch the Simpsons episode as well?
No.
Do you remember the
No,
old Simpsons X-Files episode?
I'll tell you, I'll let you know in on a little something. I got a one of those little pins you put on your jacket, and it
Yep.
had a picture of Bart Simpson on it, and it
Mhm.
said "Underachiever and Proud." My dad saw that sticker, and that was the end of my experience with The Simpsons. So I never got into The Simpsons. It just, I don't know. By the time I was older, I just didn't get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's still going strong. I think it's like almost up 30 seasons or something. It's crazy.
Right.
Would be. 89 it came out.
Wow, that's insane.
And I
And for an animated show, I mean, damn, that's a long time.
yeah.
Yeah. Milking the cash cow, that's what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Still
Yeah.
there's only about 10 good seasons, roughly,
Yeah.
so but,
Yeah.
it was all the rage when I was growing up. Everybody was
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't shut up about it, and you could say a line, like everyone's doing catchphrases everywhere. And
Yeah. Me and my friend had a whole routine and everything.
yeah. Cool. Well, we flew by those icebreakers. I think you just were so efficient that you wanted to talk about your book. Get them out of the way. Let's talk about Scorn. I'll bring up the cover. Look at that.
Yeah.
That
is a scene from the book.
I got a feeling there might be a lot of death in this book. I don't know what it is.
There is. This book is very violent, but it's kind of the violence in most cases comes from either paranormal or supernatural sources.
Okay.
Let's see. The tagline for the book is "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and that goes double when she's a sorceress."
Oh, okay. Nice. I like it.
Imagine, if you will, a Shakespearean tragedy with a king with a fatal flaw wrapped up in something very akin to the Viking sagas.
Okay.
In this world, the Viking gods are alive and breathing. The story starts out with the king on a quest from Freya to return Munin to Odin. Loki had given him to a king, and Munin was separated from him. In the sagas, Odin says that he fears losing his ravens more than anything, and Munin more than Hugin. Munin and Hugin represent Odin's thought and memory. For a guy who is obsessed with knowledge, to lose those things is it just strips him of all that he is. So Freya sent him on this quest to go get the raven, and that's my in medias res. That it starts in the middle of action. That's how the story starts. It is in the middle of this quest.
Okay. All right. So this is very different from your last book that we talked about. Completely different genre. So how did you come about wanting to write something, set in the Viking lore?
In large part, it initially came from wanting to explore my Swedish heritage.
Okay.
But it was watching shows like, for instance, the 13th Warrior.
Yep, love that movie.
Playing Dungeons and Dragons, and the show The Walking Dead gave me the idea for a party that is being pursued by a supernatural enemy.
Okay.
And so that was the basis of it. That's where it just it evolved pretty seriously from there. Basically, while on this quest, King Ingvar, while it was passion driven, there was a bit of actual love that happened there, but he had an affair with not just any vulva, the very vulva that interpreted Odin's dreams, the very vulva that only Odin Allfather is above her in her skill. So if you're gonna pick a vulva to screw over, Phagra was the last choice you wanted to make. At the same time, while she is the villain of the story, while her response is brutal, while it is extremely violent, she legitimately has she has been legitimately hurt. She has been legitimately scorned. I mean, to be fair, the timing of this particular oath was interesting, and I did it this way specifically to provoke talk about it. But as he is about to enter her, she stops him and says, "Wait, you have to give yourself to me first." And overridden by passion, he did.
Okay.
And then he just skipped out in the morning, didn't make breakfast.
If essentially, he had an affair with her for months while he was in this other place, and he got confronted about it by his friend, by his brother, and by his son, and he went and told Phaedra, "Look, I have a kingdom and a wife and responsibilities back home. You can't come with me. You're but my wife is also my son's mother. That's something you can never be." Anyway, so this just kind of escalates into a very, like I said, very bleak, very violent. There is I write stuff that disturbs me. I figure if it's disturbing me, then I got a good chance I'm going to disturb my reader.
Awesome. And you know what? You know what? I read things that I like. I like reading things that disturb me. So that's why I like your work. So I'm looking forward to
nice, nice. Yes, there is. I'm not going to tell you about it, but there is a murder in this book that took me a good 20-30 minutes to shake off after I wrote it. Like it bugged me pretty bad.
Yeah. Did you call the cops? I want to turn myself in.
Right. I actually have a thing hanging on my wall that says, "Author, I do horrible things to imaginary people."
Yeah. That's awesome.
I like it. Awesome.
So yeah, I want to say that if you're familiar with Viking with Norse myths, you're gonna be very and you like those things, then Scorn is gonna be right up there with you. I mean it when I say the Shakespearean tragedy and the Norse sagas. This is a blend of the two, but something highly original.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was going to ask, like, how much liberty did you take on the lore and stuff? Did you take any, or were you trying to be as accurate as you could?
Oh, I was as accurate as I could. Before I wrote Scorn, I read a book called Children of Ash and Elm, the history of the Vikings, and that is actually written by a Professor Neil Price. I want to say it is. Anyway, he's a professor of archaeology and history at Uppsala University in Sweden. If you're gonna get information about the Norse people, that's a pretty darn good source to go to.
Yeah, I was going to say he's definitely right in the heart of it.
Yeah. I also I dug, while this is a complete fantasy story, it was also inspired by an actual event, and so that helped me choose the time period.
Okay.
And I want to say it was 793 AD is when the Vikings first came in contact with the English. They attacked Lindisfarne Priory on the Holy Island, and I mean, just raided and pillaged a holy site, which just, I mean, to do that to a holy site back then was just, they didn't have any guards there. There was nobody protecting the treasure because nobody would do this.
Yeah.
Right. So what I wanted to do was I had that particular story inspired parts of the book, but vaguely at best. But that it was set in 793 in the 8th century helped me decide the time period that I wanted to set it in. So again, while this is a fantasy story, this is very 8th century Norse.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. And what we aside from that book that you said you read by the Swedish professor, what were some of your other inspirations in when you were going and telling this story? Do you have did you take any kind of other media into when you were thinking about this story?
Oh yeah, I delved pretty deeply into Norse mythology. I mean, I've been a fan of mythology since I was a kid, so I'm fairly familiar with it anyway. But I mean, I make several references to mythology in the book. Like I said, Fegra herself is the Volva that it translated Odin's dream, that told him about creation, the cycle of the world, Ragnarok, and all that stuff. So I mean, I pulled that deep out of Norse myth there, and I mean for instance, I one of the things I learned from the Children of Ash and Elm was not just about the Norse, but the anthropological stuff about the history. So I didn't just learn history, I learned how this history affected their lives. So there's even references to this stuff in the book where they actually go in, and I find this part interesting, but they actually go and they take butter and they put it out on a rock for the Alba, the elves. And they do this so that they can get a blessing on their crop. What I find interesting about this is that the Irish do something similar with cream, and it is for the Fae. They go and put cream out on a rock for the Fae, and it is again for the blessing. I find it interesting that both the Alva and the Fae both like something derived from milk.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. I like that.
I mean, these are separate cultures that were
Yeah.
not necessarily connected right away.
But then you can see obviously the similarities in what they're trying to do. They're both using milk-based products to essentially obtain blessings for, harvest.
Right.
That's all.
Right. I also, one of the things I wanted to do with Scorn, and this was really important to me. When you say the word Viking to most people, the things that come to their mind are raping, pillaging, murder, thieving. This is raiding. This is what people think of when they think of Vikings. And I'll tell you why. Because most of the perceptions of Vikings were painted by their enemies.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to show was that there was so much more to Viking culture, to the cities that they lived in, to the types of people that they were, that they weren't just some lawless people on a suicide mission to go to Valhalla or whatever. They had morals and ethics, they had laws, they weren't all that dissimilar from other people in that respect. They were farmers, they were blacksmiths, they were leather workers, they were merchants. There was so much more to them, and I wanted to point that out in this book.
Yeah, because you're right. When when a lot of people hear the word Viking, you immediately go, rape, pillage, murder, and that's it.
Right.
And that's, I think you're right, and it makes sense. That's what their enemies depict them as. They want to make them look as bad as possible. Throughout history. But yeah, I like that. You're showing the other side of who they essentially were.
Yeah. I think one of the things that Scorn is definitely about when it comes to Ingvar is the consequences of a choice and what it means to be a leader and a man when things are at their worst.
Yeah. That makes sense. I like that. Now, going back to the actual cover of the book, did you design that yourself, or did you sort of get someone? My head.
I had somebody draw that up, if that's what you're wondering.
Draw it up. Okay, awesome. Yes.
Yeah, but I chose the picture. I said what I wanted in it and stuff. This is a scene from the big battle at the beginning.
Okay. I like it.
I
It's
would tell
very-
you, I would describe it more, but I don't want to ruin the scene for you.
No, I was just going to say that there's a lot going on there. I'm assuming, obviously, the guy at the front with the arrow in his eye, that's probably Odin, if I'm not mistaken.
It is not.
No.
It's not. Okay. Well, there you
Look
go.
at look at Ryan saying all these Vikings look the same. Oh.
No, I'm going. I'm mainly
No,
going because Odin always
these
has
are
eye
Sorry, go
injury,
ahead.
you know?
right,
Odin always
right.
has, you know,
But
no
to be
matter
fair,
what,
To be fair, Odin didn't get shot in the eye. He plucked it out with his own thumb so that he could drink from Ymir's well.
yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Well, all
Yeah.
he's doing now is just using an arrow for assistance to pluck it out, you know?
Yeah, but no, there's a lot going on that cover, and clearly, it is at the height of, you know, a major battle. So I
Mhm.
like that. I like it when authors take a scene from their book and you know, you describe it to an artist, and then you can see, you know, when you're reading the book, you go, oh, that's where the cover comes from. I
Mhm.
love those. You know, the amount of books I read is insane, and I love when I see something like that happen.
I will tell you this much. The lady in the blue there is Phaedra.
Kind of thought maybe, but after
Yeah.
misidentifying Odin, I didn't want to guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I go into I have dabbled in the occult, and I know a bit about some of the rituals and stuff that go on. So when you see magic being performed in these, I actually looked this stuff up.
Okay.
I wanted it to feel as authentic as possible.
And that's what I like about, you know, it gives it that semi-historical feel to it, because you know, you are incorporate rather than, you know, making up your whole own, you know, race and era, which is perfectly fine. But when you're reading a book about, you know, something that is so rooted in the history of the world, the fact that you can, you know, be as accurate as possible, it gives it that semi-historic feel, which I mean, I've always been a massive fan of history. And I love it
nice.
when those kind of things tie together. You know, you're reading, yes, this is a fantasy story, but here are the elements of real world that actually take place within that.
Yes, yes. This book, I could tell you this much. You are not gonna be ready for the ending.
Okay.
Is it disturbing?
I would say so, at the very least.
Okay. I'm going to
But
hold you to that.
it's also one of those things where you think things are going one way, and goddamn, they do not.
I love a good twist.
Yeah.
Because you don't want everything to be, you know, to be out there, right? Like the book I'm reading at the moment, actually, I finished it last night, and I'm not going to lie, so far this year, it is my book of the year.
Nice.
It was, I read it on an arc, and because of a whole bunch of things that happened in my life over the last month, I wasn't able to finish it in time. I reached out to the author on X and I explained the situation. He said, look, don't even worry about it. You know, it's all good. I understand. I was about 80% done when I reached out to him, and then it released on April 30th, and I bought a copy straight away. I finished it last night. It is phenomenal. If you love, I'm just going to say, it's kind of like an old school monster book. It's 500 pages, so it's a hell of a read. It's by
let me get some specifics there. Now, there are monster movies and there are creature features.
I'm going to say monster movies because it's a combination of like something happens about halfway through the book, which completely turns everything on its head, and it was really well done. It's kind of, initially it feels like one thing. It feels like a kind of you know, Stephen King's It. It kind of has that kind of feel to it. And then halfway through, it just completely turns itself on its head and feels like a good old-fashioned, team of monster hunters going after a monster, and those monster hunters have certain things about them that are not quite human. And it's just, look, I don't want to ruin it. It's called, I'm gonna have the title. I'm gonna have to get it exactly right. I'm gonna have to go into my Kindle app. It's by J. It's by J.
JL
Engel.
Okay.
I believe it is called. I'm just loading it up now, but I believe
like Where the Children
called,
Play or something, or Where the Children Don't Play, or
Don't Play.
Yeah, Where the Children Don't Play.
Yeah, but because it is, I believe so. I'm just double checking now, but because it is such a good book, I don't want to mispronounce it. Because it's such a. I know, Jamie, you can take this little bit out in editing, but I'm just trying to load up.
This is riveting.
We all know how great my internet is. I'm going to look at it on my tablet because my phone's taking too long because I just finished it last night. Here it is. I've got it. It is called. Oh, now the screen's covered. Where the Children Don't Play.
Where the Children Don't Play.
I'll bring it up.
Okay.
By J.L. Engel. It is. It's one of those things where it completely threw me for 50% in it. Completely threw me. And I'm like, wow, is this going to work? And boy, it does. And that's what I mean. Like when you say the end of your book has got that, you think it's going one way, but then it goes completely the other. I absolutely love that trope in books and movies and TV shows and games and everything. But when I read a good story that does that to me, it's definitely my top reads. And that's why I'm looking forward to reading Scorn, because I love books that do that. That just throw you for a loop. So I just wanted to get that in there about that book, because that is my book of the year so far. It's even beaten out my favorite horror author, Janelle Schiecke, unfortunately. Ooh. But this book is just phenomenal. So
I actually think he's part of the Dark Veil Society from memory. If I'm wrong,
okay, I would.
Then he should.
He's got a section in the front of the book. He's got a section in the front of the book where it's got a lot of indie author reviews, and there are a lot of Dark Veil Society people in those reviews. But he's a lovely guy. Like, I reached out to him on X, explained my situation, because I always finish my arc reads before they're due. And it's just that I had a few things happen this month that I just had no control over, and I didn't have the time to read that I'd like. So, but check it out. It's available now. I think it's like $8, Kindle version. It's amazing.
Yeah, $8 Australian, 20. We'll have to get him in the pod.
Definitely. It brought up memories. Mike, you'll probably know this. There was a movie back. I can't remember if it came out in the 80s or the 90s. It was called The Monster Squad. Do you remember that movie?
Hell yeah. Wolfman's got nards.
Exactly right. It gave me that kind of feeling, because in that movie, he's got all the traditional Universal monsters. It's got Dracula, it's got the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Mummy, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and it's got all of these, coming together to try and essentially take over the world. And Frankenstein ends up working with the heroes to help stop Dracula. I should say Frankenstein's monster, because Victor Frankenstein is the creator. But he works with the and that's got a same kind of feel to this book. Only the team of hunters, I should say, are working with this. It's in a small town. There's like 3 cops in the whole town, and the primary protagonist is is a deputy called Mason, and he went through a terrible tragedy as a kid, and it's now coming back something like 20 years later, and then it just all goes from there. The book it's just so good. If you love those monster team up to fight one big bad, it's got a combination of it and all those kind of monster movies, you're gonna love the book. It's just phenomenal. So
it sounds like this guy likes to do what I like to do, and that is make you fall in love with a character just so I can torture them.
I was ready on my phone I said, if because there's Mason, and then he's got his girlfriend and his girlfriend's son, who Mason ends up, taking the fatherly role with. And I was ready to tweet. I said, if you hurt any of these three characters, I'm very angry, because you do. It's emotionally invested. I was emotionally invested in a lot of the characters. And you know what? I was probably the most emotionally invested in the most variety of characters in a book that I have been in a long time. And I think that's why it's such a good book. But yeah, we'll put that to the side. That's but I just wanted to draw the comparison, because I love that book and I love the twist. And I know I'm going to love your book because I loved your first book. I know that there's going to be that twist at the end that I'm just itching to get to. So I'm really looking forward to reading Scorn. Is it out at this moment?
Yes, it is. In fact, there's an audiobook on the way.
Oh, awesome. Are you doing that yourself, or are you working with somebody?
I had it done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That ACX you use, or?
Yeah, ACX. Yeah. Actually, it was quite frankly, it was a bit of a nightmare process in this particular time with the audiobook, but I think it turned out good.
That's good. Yeah. We don't have that privilege as authors in Australia. We don't it's not available to us, ACX.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, because I could see Jamie's Ancora books would be amazing as audiobooks.
Well, for me, and I don't know if this is the same for everybody, but for some reason, my imagination is activated a lot more being told a story than reading a story.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is.
I
just
100%.
Yeah. Well, there's something about, like, ever since your kids, bedtime story, where you get tucked in and someone reads you the story. It's just that.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was a kid, we didn't get nighttime stories. However, my brother was a bit of an armchair DM even as a kid. And I would have him we called them choose your own adventures, because we didn't do that at the time, but he would just make up this story, and I would like role play with him as he told me the story until I fell asleep. So that was pretty nice of him, I guess.
Excellent. So is Scorn a standalone story, or?
Yes, it is. What was that, Ryan? This standalone, definitely.
I was going to say, my internet might be lagging a little bit because I was just buying Scorn just then on my phone.
Nice.
Now that I have that, I was just saying, I had my mom used to read me fantasy when I was growing up, at nighttime to bed, 3 chapters of, and she got me into the Goosebumps books as well when I was just a small kid. So I have very, very fond memories of getting read to, and I think that's what, spurned my my love of reading. But I think what you and your brother had, I think I would have preferred that, because I love the whole acting out of stories and making them up on the spot kind of thing. But I wasn't talented enough to do that.
I honestly think that it was reading Choose Your Own Adventures and that stuff my brother used to do for me. And then we used to do we'd make up these little dungeon crawl things to do with my dad. Just no rules, really, just kind of a find the treasure, find the way out kind of a thing or whatever. But that is really what prepped me to be a Dungeons and Dragons guy. So I think if it wasn't for those Choose Your Own Adventure books and stuff, I'm not sure I would have acquired it necessarily.
And I think last time we spoke, Mike, you said you still play regularly. You still play D&D regularly, don't you?
No. We do play role playing, but in our current situation, we are not playing Dungeons and Dragons in this particular case. It's more of a homebrew game.
Yeah, that's essentially what we do. Our GM took, the storytelling. He's really good at making up his own worlds and stories and everything like that. So we pretty much all of our stuff is homebrew.
Nice.
no, we're not like Critical Role where it's just like I love the Vox Machina TV show and everything, but the Critical Role podcast I first started to listen to, it's like 4 or 5 hours, and it just drags on with the rules of D&D, and we're like, we're just going to make our own rules and play that
Right.
way. It's just so much more fun.
Yeah, but unfortunately, with our DM, he likes to cancel the series before it's over.
Oh,
Yeah,
He gets excited about the next. He's got ADHD. He gets excited about the next campaign that he's creating to the point where we're still halfway through the current campaign. He's like, no, we're scrapping that. We're starting the new one.
Yeah,
because he's excited about that.
Yeah.
I actually tried to be a DM, and I think my being a writer actually made things worse. I basically don't know how to run an adventure without railroading.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I'm a plotter through and through. I am not a pantser. I do not just wobble my way through a story. I have a very set plan. I outline. I do chapter by chapter, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And when they just go, you know what? We're not going to do this. We're going to do this whole other thing. You weren't even. I'm just like, no.
That's our DM.
Yeah.
He plans all this stuff, and then we'll kill a character or we'll do something. He's like, well, there goes that backstory and all those side quests.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was very frustrating for me as a DM. It was discouraging for me to put all that work in and then not have it work out at all.
Yeah, because sometimes me and Jamie, we like to be different, and we like to not go down the path that our DM has clearly outlined for us. So we like to make it difficult sometimes because that's the fun.
Well, if he's going to take our characters away from us, and change the ending, because what he does, Mike, is he'll end a campaign and then like years later we'll come back to a campaign, but it'll be same universe kind of thing, and he'll go like, "This is where your characters are now." I'm going like, well, how come you get to choose what happens to our characters?
Right, right.
And he does it all the time. And I said, I don't know if I'll do it with this current campaign we're working on now, but I said like, it's going to get to a point where I'm just going to take my character everywhere. And it's like it doesn't matter. Like right now we're prepping for like a supernatural hunters, kind of campaign, and then maybe after that we'll go back to fantasy or something. So I'm going like I can't take like a supernatural hunter into a fantasy. Although that could be interesting. It would annoy him.
When you say supernatural hunters, my brain wants to immediately go to Call of Cthulhu.
No, maybe.
Is that what you're talking about? Something like that?
It's literally like Supernatural, the TV show, but a little more
nice,
fleshed out.
There's an overarching big bad, and then where it's kind of like monster of the week, kind of getting to that big bad. So yeah.
Although last time we did something in this world, we thought it would be like, monster of the week, but then he's like suddenly just goes, the world is ending, the apocalypse is coming, hurry up, you need to do this, if you don't do this then you're gonna die, and like it's just like, and then why aren't you leveled up enough to take on this bad? And we're like, because you're not letting us do side quests. You're not letting us do side quests. You gotta do this now. It's just like, jeez.
That's the thing. Like me and Jamie come from like we love gaming, and we're all about side quests. We're completionists. So when we play a game, we want 100% complete all the side quests, everything like that. That's where we level up. Might be a very high level when the game ends because we've taken the time to do all these quests. But then when Chris throws us in there, it's like, now, okay, with one monster of the week, okay, cool, we leveled up. Now at the end of the world. It's just like straight onto that.
Let's make a pact right here, right now, Ryan, that when he does the end of the world thing again, we'll just ignore it and just go off and do little monster hunts and go. And
I think I'm okay with.
And then
I'm okay with that.
And then the media will hit, and we'll be like,
the world burns.
Yeah,
but we're gonna take out this monster.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that.
Just remember, in the end, we have the power. We really do. I did say this because last time, Mike, he brought in this character that was so annoying. I could, to the point where I practiced my dice rolling, and I knew she was like 20 levels above me, and I just attacked her, and I killed her, and it was amazing. And then I said, if you bring her back this time, my character's going to walk in front into oncoming traffic. And I'm just going to, like, anytime she comes in, my character's going to walk into oncoming traffic, or it's going to do something to, or drown myself in the ocean. Like, I'll just, because I hate that character.
When you say annoying, are we talking, how annoying are we talking? Because there are levels of annoying. Are we talking about like Franklin and Texas Chainsaw Massacre annoying?
Well, I haven't seen that, so I don't
know. Well, let's just say that guy. It's hard to believe you could hate a fictional character, but damn, I do.
Well, I think the fact that I'm willing to sacrifice my character says enough about how annoying.
That says something. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wasn't okay. So basically, what she was a valley girl from the San Fernando Valley, and Chris did the awful San Fernando Valley, rich, spoiled daddy's girl accent, and
like whatever,
So she just got done watching Clueless.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And now she's going to go hunt some demons, and you're just like, I'm going to kill this demon. I can't do the voice, but I just
demons are like losers.
Yes. Okay. See you. I'm leaving. Over. No.
Oh, gee.
All right. So coming back on topic, Scorn.
Okay.
What is happening after Scorn? Do you have a completely random news story you're going to do, or something similar?
I got a story I've been working on since 2014.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Are you familiar with what a tetrad of blood moons is?
No.
I know those words.
Okay. That is when you have a blood moon every 6 months for 2 years. So 4 in a row.
Wow.
Okay. That happened in 2014 and 2015. When that was going on, there was all kinds of talk about this is a sign of the apocalypse, or that perhaps that the Antichrist was born, or something. There was all this talk about what it could possibly mean. And well, that just got me kind of thinking, what if you had an apocalypse that was not just one apocalypse? What if this was a combination of apocalypses? And I just kind of imagined this decimated world, all kinds of dead people everywhere, smoke piling everywhere, just absolute mayhem. And I just kind of went, you know what? I want to find out how I get here in this story. And I just worked my way back. Eventually, I got to a point where I created a universe where all mythologies exist at the same time. That is more difficult than it sounds, as most mythologies approach the world as they are the only gods.
Yeah.
So I had to definitely rework things, but I also worked in some Christian stuff as well. But apocryphal stuff, some extracurricular stuff, mind you. But for instance, there is stuff from Paradise Lost in here. There is stuff from the books of Enoch in here. There is stuff from the life of Adam and Eve in here. There is stuff from the Divine Comedy in here. There is a God and even a Jesus in this universe, but they are not the people you are familiar with at all. I started I basically made an alternate universe out of this, and I did it in the Bible. It talks about when Jesus died, there was this big kind of a crack in the sky. There was the thunder, there was an earthquake. The dead were seen walking around Jerusalem. I was like, you know what? Something really serious happened when that happened. What if at the moment of Jesus' death, it actually created an alternate universe? And that is the birth of the Omenverse, this one I'm talking about. This is a world full of broken heroes. It is superhero horror. It involves secret societies. It involves military conspiracies. It involves demigods. It involves a serial killer. It involves a guy who works for Heaven's Special Forces unit, Shakur. And I mean it is very involved. There are multiple titles in the series, and I've got it all outlined. I'm currently working on the first book of it for Omen Book 1.
So
I
it's
was
going to be
going
a
to say,
series.
for something that big, for what you're incorporating, it'd have to be more than one book.
No,
It definitely is.
It's a novella. It's a novella.
Yeah. Yeah, Omen might be
Wow.
my first novel, actually.
Okay, awesome. I love this.
I'm incorporating these used to be comics, and
Okay.
the story was so huge that it would have literally taken 50 or 60 years for me to tell this story in comics. Comics are very limiting medium if you have a lot of story to tell. You can only put so many words per balloon. You can only have so many words per page. You have to tell half the story with the art. These are all extremely limiting. And since switching over to prose, I'm finding it a lot more liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you're working on the first book now.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of idea on, is it going to be, you said it might be your first novel. So do you have any idea on when we might be able to see some of this?
No. Currently, I am doing a god awful amount of research for this book.
Okay,
I mean, I want like with my other stuff, I want this to feel authentic. I want you to feel like you're living in this world. I put up a post about this recently. One of my intents in writing is to create an escape. I want you to escape into my worlds. I want you to escape into my characters. If that provides a respite from the problems and stresses of life for even a brief time, I am a happy writer.
Yeah, and that is the whole reason I read. You know what? Like, to be honest with you, that is the whole reason that I actually, sit down every night for at least 3 hours and
Nice.
just escape. And it's why I play video games. It's why I read comics. It's why I read so many books. And I found that when I read your cyberpunk style book, The Dread, that did that for me, and I could tell that a lot of passion and a lot of effort and a lot of research went into it. And that's what I really like about your work, and I know without even only hearing a little bit about Scorn, but because I like your reading style, I was happy to buy the book straight away. If I'd known it was out, I probably would have bought it last night. But I'm looking forward to reading that too, and I know that I'm going to get that bit of supernatural story, but also some of the historic value of the Viking culture as well. So I mean, the next lot of books you're writing are right up my alley. You said superhero horror story; it's right up my alley. So I can't wait to see that.
Very nice. I will tell you about one character in the Omenverse that I particularly like. In Greek mythology, Zeus is forever going out and sleeping with all kinds of women. What, oddly enough, sometimes he takes the form of an animal and they still sleep with him. But this is the thing. I thought it would be interesting. What if, for once, it was Hera that stepped out on Zeus and had a kid? That is the basis for a character named Patrick O'Leary. He is a serial killer, but he is also an emotional vampire. Check this out. That people talk about emotional vampires as somebody who it just kind of drains you emotionally being in the room.
Yeah.
Right. You feel exhausted after being around them. But in his particular case, he actually gets life-giving nourishment from extreme emotions. So he likes to, shall we say, play with his food. The more terrified he can make someone, the more disturbed he can make them, the better he's going to feed.
Yeah,
So he
that makes sense.
so he walks around handing people a copy of Scorn.
One kind of cool thing me and my friend are doing. Steve Sellers is the editor, and he also did the foreword on both the Dread and Scorn. We've been friends for quite a while now, and we're actually doing this thing. He has his own little superhero universe that he's working on. And we're doing this thing where we kind of reference each other's stuff in our stories. For instance, one of his characters, Blitz, is actually a cartoon that one of my characters likes to watch.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Little stuff like that.
I like that. That's good. It's just little, so that then, if you're a fan of both your work, you could read it and you go, oh, okay, I see what's happened here. I like that.
Right.
I like that. I haven't seen too much of that in the indie world. Like, the only example I can think of is authors representing their own stuff. Like, I read Janelle Schiecke's Spider earlier this year, and the friends, when they're together, they were talking about the urban legend of the Clatterman, which is another one of her books.
Oh, nice.
I like it. I know that. Or like, they're kind of the inside for people who know the work. So I love that kind of thing. I love it when that happens.
I think you have to be as good of friends as me and Steve are to do something like this with your books, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you got anything out at the moment?
No. He has a short story that he did for somebody. But it's with somebody else. He doesn't even actually have access to it.
Okay.
But he is also taking what was a comic book and turning it into prose.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. I'll have to keep an eye out for his stuff too.
Yeah. I'm gonna be doing the forward on that one too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, before we jump into our ever popular game, there's a bit of a new segment where I like to pick the brains or pick the whatevers of our guests.
Okay.
Since you've started writing, what is some advice that you would give your younger self, or maybe there's something that you would like to say to up and coming writers that are trying to get into the long haul?
I will say this for writers looking on putting out the first book. With the Dread, I think that I could have done a better job on the Dread. Not that I think I did a bad job necessarily, but I think that I could have done a better job had I not listened to all of the advice you hear on X about writing. It is my opinion that most of the people on X giving advice about writing don't even like to read. I was so afraid of being blamed for exposition that I was afraid to describe anything or go into anything, or I let all of this stuff inhibit my writing. And in Scorn, you get, this is me unhinged. This is no more filters, no more this. I wrote what I wanted to write, and that's how it came out. And I recommend that you do that. Don't ever let someone else's opinion or whatever random advice you might come across, don't ever let that rob you of your voice. Yeah. Walt Disney said, if you want to be successful, you have to be unique to the point where if people want what you have, they got to come to you to get it. You're not going to do that doing what everybody else does.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And that I can 100% attest to that. Like, I'm a massive horror fan. I always have been since I was little. And there's really only a few categories that the horror will fall into. You know, you've got your slashers, you've got your supernatural, possession, all these kind of like, you know, say 5 or 6 categories. But it's how you make yours unique in that category that will mean I'll go back and watch it again. You know, I've watched probably over 1,000 slasher movies, but then there are still those ones that I will go back to. Friday the 13th is my favorite. Jason Voorhees is my favorite slasher killer. You know, I love Nightmare on Elm Street because you don't really have anything like Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, with Freddy Krueger actually being, you know, most slashers, they come from, they're just innocent little kids and then something happens to them and then they turn bad. Freddy Krueger was an asshole. He was a child molester vampire that a whole bunch of parents got together and killed because he was molesting the kids. I mean, there's no better reason to kill someone if you have to kill someone, I'm saying. But and he doesn't care. He comes back and he's like, yeah, I did this, and now I'm going to kill them as well. You know, I hate it when they try and give a villain a soppy backstory. Why can't a villain?
Where you feel sorry for him or something?
Why can't a villain just be a villain because they're bad people? And that's what Freddy Krueger is. That's what Freddy Krueger is to me, and that's why I think that is unique to that slasher genre. There's no, in my opinion, there's no better uniqueness of a character than Freddy Krueger. And that you're 100% right. You need to have that uniqueness because then people are going to keep coming back because they want more of that, and you're the only person that can give it to them.
You know what else is unique about A Nightmare on Elm Street?
What's that?
Nowhere, anywhere on the planet, in any other franchise, in any other story, you have a child molester and a child murderer having kids dress up for him as dress up as him as Halloween. Have Freddy Krueger toys, Freddy Krueger claws, Freddy Krueger sweaters, Freddy Krueger everything. It went nuts in the 80s. Oh my God.
I remember, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one was the first ever horror movie I saw. I stayed up late on a Saturday night. I begged my parents, I think I was like 8 or 9. I begged my parents to let me watch it, and they did. And I was like, I like Freddy Krueger. And it's like, my dad was like, you do realize he was a pedophile and a murderer. I said, yeah. I like that guy. And you're right, 100%. Like, people were just going nuts.
Well, Ryan, Freddie liked you too.
I never thought about it.
Freddie liked you too, Brian.
And he did it as well.
I think that is very cool that your first and we have this in common with Janelle Schiecke actually too. Her first horror movie was A Nightmare on Elm Street. She too watched it as a kid and right around the same age as both of us. We both watched it around, I believe I was 9 or no, I was 9 or close to it. It had just come out on, this was 1985. It had just come out on VHS recently. My grandpa wanted to watch it. He rented it and bam. I've been hooked ever since. I actually had a recurring nightmare from A Nightmare on Elm Street clear into my 20s. Nice. You know, when Nancy is going up the stairs and her foot keeps getting feet getting stuck in that sticky. Okay, I was in the dream. In the dream, I would be on this spiral staircase going up, and my feet would keep getting stuck in all the stairs, and Freddy's chasing me up. Although one time, it was my mom with a chainsaw. Too many horror movies.
But no, I absolutely, you know, I used to have really, really bad PTSD, and I used to watch horror movies before I went to bed so that I would get nightmares of a horror variety instead of my PTSD. And that's what I love horror movies. Seriously, they've done so much to help me. I know people are like, how can you say horror movie? Are you a psychopath? Well, no, I enjoy it. I enjoy the stories. I'm yet to find one that actually scares me.
Except
but that's because I've got arachnophobia.
Still counts. Still counts.
I'm talking about like full on scare me, like give me nightmares and everything.
You can't put a prerequisite, is that the word? Or you know.
Yeah.
I'm looking for something to scare me, except for the thing that actually scares me. It's got to be outside the thing that scares me, but it's got to be.
Well, I
Did
did.
I-
I did watch Arachnophobia when it came out. That was
Yeah.
when I was a kid, and that did freak me out a little bit. But in my adult life, I have not seen a movie that scared me.
Well, here's a question.
Have you? Okay.
Sorry, go, Mike.
Have you ever had nature play a part in making a movie scarier? I'm watching The Nun.
Oh, yep.
Okay. She's reaching out and she's gonna put her hand on the nun's shoulder. Okay,
Yep.
I live in a fifth wheel trailer. We get some pretty powerful winds up here at 4,200 feet.
Mhm.
And so I'm sitting here watching The Nun, the hands reaching out. The second she touches her shoulder, wind hits my trailer, and my heart just leapt out of my chest.
That I want that kind of scare. But the thing is, like, the house that we live in, it's a small house. It's a 1-bedroom house, but we don't have any kind of like. The worst thing we have is thunderstorms, and I'm deaf, so when I'm watching a horror movie, my wife can't stand horror. I watch them with my Beats headphones on, so I can't hear the outside world at all. But one day, even when I go and see him at the cinema, there's no real nature kind of thing that could affect it, unless the roof fell in, which is very high improbability. But yeah, that's the kind of scare I want. I want that because it gets that adrenaline going. And it gives me that feeling of euphoria. I want that kind of scare.
Then
Let me pose an alternate theory to the your deranged, if you like, horror movies thing.
Mhm.
It is my opinion that it is extremely healthy to explore our darker sides in a space where no one is actually getting hurt.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I think it is my opinion. The ones you have to worry about are the ones repressing that stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. I always say that, like, people that know me, I'm the nicest, kindest person you will ever meet. Like, I do everything for the people that I love.
Right.
And I don't understand how people can say that, oh, you must be a psychopath because you watch horror movies. No, I watch them because I like the stories. I like being taken. I'm like what I said before. I can go into that world for 2 hours, and if that takes me away from everything else that I'm going through, that is causing me stress and whatever. If I can just go into that world for 2 hours and just forget about everything, then that's a win for me. And I find horror does that best for me, and that's why I like it. But it's just weird. Some people just don't want to know about it.
this is what we're going to do for you, Ryan. Once you're fully mobile again, we're going to take you camping and we're going to watch Blair Witch Project in the bush, in the middle of the bush.
That'd be amazing. I've watched that movie so many times. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
just have it on a projector or something.
Yeah, in the middle of the bush though, like wide
For
out in the
sure.
wilderness.
What about
you know
about watching something like The Hills Have Eyes, or even needing Schiecke's Death Cult?
That I read her book. So how I read Janelle Schiecke's book, I read The Clatterman first because that's what we talked about on the podcast. I loved that, and then I went back and I read Ghost Room, which is kind of it's not as scary as like Clatterman. It's not as violent or anything. It's more a coming of age story kind of thing. And then I read Death Cult, where it's just like gore, murder, blood, cannibalism, just out of every single orifice. I'm like, wow, how could you go from Ghost Room to Death Cult? Because they're such polar opposites in storytelling, but it worked. But Death Cult, look, I would like to see that. I wouldn't like to be involved in it though, because those cannibals are just insane. Insane.
And granted, I was once called Macabre Mike, so bear that in mind. One of my favorite parts of that book is when they actually saw that dude in half from the crotch down to his head.
Yeah.
Reminded me a little bit of Art the Clown and Terrifier with the
Yep.
hacksaw. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, you know what? I'm so glad that Terrifier is coming more mainstream, because the first, I've got them all. I've got All Hallows Eve. I've got Terrifier 1, 2, 3. So Terrifier 1 and All Hallows Eve were very low budget. Well, I mean, it doesn't bother me because I thought they were amazing. They were great. Terrifier 2 stepped it up. And then Terrifier 3 was the first one that was in our cinemas over here in Australia. It was in like our big ones, like our Hoyts and our Event and our Reading cinemas. They're all our big, franchise cinemas. And now they're using Art the Clown in the new Scary Movie, which is coming out, and Art the Clown is such a great character, and I'm so glad he's now getting the mainstream attention that he deserves. It's just, those movies are amazing.
You'll find you get a certain reaction from people when you say that you like Terrifier. They're like, "Oh, you're one of those." Okay.
Yeah. And I was late to the party with Terrifier. I didn't watch the first three. So All Hallows Eve, which is kind of an anthology with Art the Clown in it, and then Terrifier 1 and 2. I didn't watch them until Terrifier 2 was out. So I got to watch those three, and I loved them. And then Terrifier 3 came out, and I saw it at the movies, and I was like, we need more Art the Clown.
All Hallows Eve, I always thought was actually the origin of Art the Clown. He clearly came from that video.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Have you seen the short, though?
No, about the earliest stuff I've seen is All Hallows Eve. That was the first thing of Art the Clown that I've seen.
He did this short. It's, I want to say, like maybe 15 minutes.
Okay. Probably on YouTube somewhere. I'll find it.
Can you watch an MP4?
Yeah, I can watch anything.
I will send it to you.
Awesome. And you know what I love about the guy that plays Art the Clown? He recently proposed to his now fiance
as Art the Clown. Yeah, that was awesome.
And he literally proposed to her, and she was happy. She was hugging and kissing him, and he just like got that freaky smile. And and you know what? That guy looks, when he's out of makeup, I forget his
nothing
name.
Like that. David Howard Thornton,
something like that. Yeah, and he's you wouldn't tell. He looks nothing like. You couldn't tell. That he plays a deranged clown murderer.
No.
I love Terrifier. It's so good.
So we cut off Jay over there quite a while ago.
Oh. Yeah. No. Ryan, have you seen the Blood and Honey movies? But they've shown you Rabbit. Is it Rabbit? Peter Rabbit? Well, not Peter Rabbit, but the Rabbit.
I have not. The last one I watched from that kind of, that universe kind of thing was the Bambi one, Bambi the Reckoning.
No, well, I think they've announced the next movie, but they've got Blood and Honey 3 or whatever, and they've revealed what Rabbit's going to look like.
Oh, nice. I'm going to have to look at that.
Bambi get a reckoning when Godzilla stepped on him?
Yeah. Yes, that's an old movie.
I love the research, because I watched when Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey was the first one that that kind of did this resurgence of all these free use characters.
Right.
And I watched the first one and I watched the second one. And the second one is so much better. It brings in Tigger, Owl. I love it. They've got like a little cross where Eeyore killed himself because he was always so depressed.
There you go.
So there was Eeyore. Oh, nice. Oh, that's insane. That's insane. I'm so glad they're doing a third one.
So these are actually good movies?
You know what? They really are.
I wasn't initially attracted by this. Let's make these beloved children's characters into horror characters. That wasn't initially something I was drawn to, but I mean, if they're worth checking out, I might have to do that.
The first one, you can tell. The first one is just Pooh and Piglet. It was done on a lower budget, obviously, but it still is a very, very good film. It looks good to me. The second one, they had a bit more of a budget, so they actually go into the origin of why these characters are, murdering people. Christopher Robin's in both of them. He's in the first one. He's in the second one. The second one is they definitely had a bigger budget. It's much better. Like the cinematography, the way it looks is so much better. The story is so much better. I've watched all of them. The Steamboat Willie ones, like the original Mickey Mouse one. So there's two of those. I've watched those. There's Popeye the Slayer Man, and there's another Popeye one that they've done, 2 horror ones. And they've done Bambi the Reckoning. They've done Neverland with Peter Pan. And I think that's about it. I've watched all of them. And they're all really good.
I might have to check some of those out. I have not checked out a single one of them.
If you're gonna check out any of them, I would recommend the 2 Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey ones.
Okay.
Once you watch the first one and you watch the second one, it got me excited for more. So
right.
and it's not really great at all. Like you think, oh, it's gonna be so crap, so B grade, but no, they're really not. The story behind it completely explains why, they would be doing.
All right.
Cool.
It's worth checking out then.
All right. Put it on your list. But now we're going to play the game.
All right.
Yeah.
Hit that share button.
Let's hope I'm a little better at it this time.
Well, it's a new. There's way many. How do you say? There's more.
Good use of English, Jamie.
There's more. There's more goodness. There's more stuff. We've reworked the graph. I'm actually working on a third graph at the moment. But for those who have not watched this before, the game is called Story Pitch. You have a setting, a genre, a main character's profession, and a crazy addition. Mike is going to give us a number between 1 and 12 for each of these categories. And then we're going to tell him what they are on our graph, and he's going to pitch us a story. It can be as in-depth as you want, or just extremely vague as you want. It is completely up to you. There's 2 rounds. First round is the warm-up round. So when you're ready, Mike, give us some numbers, and we'll get cracking.
Okay. How about 2, 7, 4, and 9.
2, 7, 4, and 9. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so your setting is a submarine.
Okay.
Your genre is journey fiction. So, your characters are traveling somewhere. So kind of like, Lord of the Rings. They're not staying in one place for too long, which is kind of weird when you're setting it as a submarine, but we'll make it work.
Well, submarines move, my friend. Submarines move.
Right? Yeah, we're good there.
I do understand that.
Oh, this main character you may be familiar with. They are an author.
Okay.
And your crazy addition, which is someone or something that must appear in this story, even if it's just for 5 seconds, are oddly specific ninjas. So we had this suggested by, I think, was it Sam?
I think it was Sam Rob.
Rob suggested this one. So just they're ninjas, but they're oddly specific.
So you can have ninja pirates. You can have ninja rabbits. Like, they're just going to be as specific as you can be about these ninjas.
Okay.
So just to recap, it is a submarine. It's journey fiction, so your characters have to be going on a journey. Your main character is an author, and you've got to have oddly specific ninjas.
Oddly specific ninjas. Okay. All right. Okay. You have the submarine. They are doing an experiment on this submarine with alien technology. And the main author, the author there on the submarine, is documenting it for a book that he's going to write. He's going to release it to the world. However, dolphin ninjas attack the submarine with their super mental powers from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. These are super smart dolphins. And they actually break into the submarine and they turn in to humanoid dolphin ninjas. Because of the alien technology on the submarine. But by the time they make it to the end, only the author survives. The dolphin ninjas lost their minds. When they went humanoid, they lost some of their intelligence and it made them mad.
I like
Very
it.
nice.
I like it.
I definitely like it. I think this would be a better. If we're going to do like visual media, that would be an amazing anime. An amazing anime. Because I think anime would be the only way to do the dolphin ninjas justice. I love it.
It's amazing.
I wasn't surprised it was going to be that good, but yeah, it's good. I like it.
All right. Round 2, you can give us the same numbers or new numbers. It's a new graph, so the results will be completely different. But
okay, how about 3, 11, 2, and 6.
3, 11, 2, and 6.
Oh no, not again.
It's the way it roll. I might change this at some point, but no. Okay, so your setting is a garage sale or a yard sale kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And your genre is furry sleuth. So like anthropomorphic. Sorry, I can never pronounce that. Anthropomorphic.
Think like Zootopia.
Okay.
Red Wall,
Anthropomorphic.
like kind of like classic
Jack
Disney.
and forth and have like normal jobs and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right. Your main character is a relationship coach.
And your crazy addition is something or someone that must appear in the story, even if it's just for 5 seconds. I'm going to have to give you background to this. So the only type of media that I do not like whether it's movie, games, book, TV shows, whatever, is Western. I cannot stand them. I will not watch them. I will not read them. If a comic series has a one-off filler issue where the characters go set in a Western theme, I will skip that issue. I am that dedicated to not liking Westerns. And it's nothing personal. I'm sure they're great, but I just hate them. So,
fair enough.
Saying that, your crazy addition is me, Ryan Haig, watching a Western.
You're watching a Western. Okay.
It was suggested by one of our guests.
All right. So we have a garage sale.
Yep.
We have a sleuth.
Very sleuth. So like like Bugs Bunny or like that kind of style.
Right. Okay.
Humanoid people. Humanoid animals, sorry.
And
relationship coach.
Relationship coach is
so it's probably like a rabbit or a dog or humanoid whatever as a relationship coach. And Ryan watching a Western. You can make him any animal you want if you want to fit it in, or he could just be Ryan.
Okay. I might do some weird things to you, Ryan.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Wow. All right. So Ryan is holding this garage sale where he has this mystery item. And how we say it? How about a beaver detective comes up and he smacks Ryan with his tail. And he says, What do you think where do you think a guy like me could get some relationship advice?
just out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere. And of course, you really hate watching the Western, and so even though you have no particular relationship advice, you still would rather give relationship advice to this beaver detective than you would to watch a Western. So you tell Beaver that, well, he's gonna have to start a pelting business.
Okay.
In which case he's going to have to murder and skin other beavers. And then as a detective, he's going to investigate those murders. And then he's going to get some more relationship advice from Ryan to distract him from having to watch the Western.
Done.
Oh, sold, greenlit.
You got a 10 episode first season on Netflix for that.
And to be fair, Ryan, I will, and I have added this. I've just added it to the graph. I will put on there, because you have to watch a Western. I will put me watching me dating a Valley girl, or on a date with a Valley girl.
Awesome.
Okay, so it's even,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And yes, after we hit record, Mike, before you go, you can offer up some things to add to the graph if you want. If you can think of anything that you would like to add, don't tell us now, but when we stop recording, so people don't know what's going to happen, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, look, thank you for joining us again. This went so quickly.
Yep.
I had a lot of fun though.
That's
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think I did much better with the pitch game this time than I did last time.
Well, I think we established it. The more random it is, the better you do. You know, like. Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that's left for you to do. Tell us, where can we buy Scorn? Tell our listeners where they can buy Scorn, and even stay up to date with what you're doing.
Okay. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free. You can pick it up on Kindle. You can buy the ebook for $2.99. You can buy a paperback copy for $9.99. You can buy a hardback copy for $14.99. And pretty soon, like within 10 days or so, there's going to be an audiobook out, although I have no control over how much that is. And that's all. You're going to find all of that on Amazon.
Cool. Excellent. All right, guys, I'll leave all the links down in the show notes. Please be sure to check that out. Check out our sponsors, Rebecca Kearsells, Martin Kearns, our honorary sponsors, Janelle Schiecke and Alexander Robb. All their links are down below. We have new merch, and I will stand up right now. New logo.
Nice.
Came in the mail yesterday. Yes, we got a line of new merch to go with our new logo. Mugs and stuff like that. All the links are down below. Depending when this episode comes out, we are working on getting a website done. So we're going to be having everything but all in one nice little space. And join our Discord if you haven't already. Reach out. We'll send you the link. There's a great little community forming in there.
Discord's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And yeah, you get a lot of the behind scenes stuff. You get to help us craft the show. It's fantastic. A lot of fun. Sure. So until next time, keep supporting those indie authors, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Live long and prosper.